Hey, it's Zach from Toddler Garage. I'm on my lunch break, but just wanted to come out and say, all you new mechanics out there that are starting out, remember, don't go expensive. Don't try to spend Snap-on money on a whole bunch of tools. Just get yourself a nice starter set. You can go down to Lowe's or Home Depot, and you can get a nice 300-piece mechanic wrench set and socket set. It comes with 2 ratchets and some extensions and like 100 different sockets, a couple sets of pliers and all that. But really what I wanted to dive a little bit deeper into is I don't have a visual representation, but on a normal day, you're going to be dirty anytime. Wrenching costs money. So on this episode of Toddler Garage, we're going to dive into how much it really costs to be a mechanic. Starting out, I did the simple thing. I went to Harbor Freight and I spent like $500 and got everything I could possibly think that I could need. There's all these people out there that give you starting lists of what you might need on YouTube, but really, it's a specific thing for each job. I mean, automotive techs, you're going to use a lot of the same stuff, so you can go off of those lists. But if you're getting in the heavy equipment world, you're going to have to amp it up just a little bit. Bigger tools. Kind of go off of the list that I had. I'll post them in a link in the description of the list that I had found that helped me out. Mainly if you're a heavy rig or tractor truck mechanic, you need about the same amount of tools as a heavy equipment mechanic. So it's a really good baseline to go off of. Don't worry. You're not going to have to buy a toolbox like this one to start out with. This is from years of collecting tools. I have a Revel X triple bay hutch with a side cabinet. I love my toolbox. I love my tools. But by any means, starting out, you don't have to have that much money. I'd suggest getting like a 6-drawer tool cart with a flip open top or a slide tray. You can get them at Harbor Freight for like $500. That's a good place to start, and it's as cheap as it's going to be. You're going to always need a tool cart. And even if you end up upgrading, you can keep the tool cart because you're always going to need it. It's a good place to start. Start small, start easy. Don't put too much thought into it. Just like I was saying earlier today, when I was showing you my toolbox and stuff at work, it takes a long time to get to that point in time as a mechanic. You don't just jump on the Matco truck and all of a sudden have a giant toolbox. I mean, you gotta invest some time into it. It's a business. I mean, the more time you spend wrenching, the more tools you need. The more tools you need, the bigger the toolbox you need. And eventually, so on and so forth. But it doesn't hurt to start out cheap, okay? Don't jump on the Snap-on truck and just buy tools. That is a bad recipe. Don't even start with that. Why don't you go down to like Lowe's and get a nice set of nice cobalt tools, you know? There's a lot of really cheap full tool sets out there. This is still part of the original set that I started out with. It's the Cobalt 300-piece set. It comes with the Cobalt short, deep well, 3/6, 9-inch, 3/8 drive extensions, a 3/8 ratchet, metric American shorts and deeps. It comes with 1/4-inch shorts and deeps, metric and American, 3/6, 9, 10, and 12-inch 1/4-inch extensions. Comes with the 1/2-inch full set, deep well, American and metric, and shallow well, American metric, with a 3/6 and a 9-inch, 1/2-inch extension, and it's perfect. I worked with that set for like a whole 2 years of my life, and as I broke stuff, I had it replaced because you can go down to Lowe's, but as I broke it, I bought Snap-on stuff, and then I brought this stuff home with me. Now I got a good mechanic set at home. It just doesn't happen like overnight. Same thing with the wrenches. You don't want to go out and spend a whole lot of money on wrenches. Like for instance, wrenches. I still have my original set of Pittsburgh V-cuts. They go all the way up to 1.25 inches down to, I think, 5/16 or even quarter. It's like a 14-piece wrench set that I got for like 25 bucks, and I still have the whole set. Like, look at that. It's a good wrench, and I'm still using it at home. Look, I haven't used the 7/8 much because there's, pretty big wrench, but look at that. I mean, that's a good wrench right there. I mean, you don't have to spend much to get into the business. I think originally I bought a 5 or 6 drawer Harbor Freight tool cart that was like $250 at the time. And then I spent like another $250, $300 on just random assortment. You want a good set of pliers, you want a good set of side cuts, you want a good set of channel locks, you want a good set of snap ring pliers, you want at least one of everything. You want flathead screwdrivers, you want Phillips head screwdrivers. You want to make sure that you have a good diversified selection that you can just kind of start out with. For instance, I still have my original 3-piece Pittsburgh crescent wrench set. It still works good for home applications. Not the best set of crescent wrenches in the world, very cheap, but you know what? They still work for home use. I don't really use them very much because I have better tools, but in all actuality, this is perfectly fine. I've replaced it with other tools that work. But remember, that set was like 15 bucks, and now I have probably a $300 set at work. But the point is, if you're getting into the business, don't spend a whole lot of money coming out of the gate, because if you do, you're going to end up breaking yourself before you can even succeed. And that's not the point. You want to make money, so you got to stay in the business, and then you succeed, and then you buy stuff. Like, for instance, I still have my 1/2-inch Pittsburgh flex head ratchet. This thing, I hate it, but I still have it. Like, look, the bolt's working its way out. It's okay, but you know what? This thing got me through at least of half of a year starting out. Get the money in the bank and then start spending it on the tools that you want. Just get what's the necessities. Don't be afraid to come into a shop as a brand new technician, never coming into the field, just have mechanical aptitude, and you're like, I gotta have the best. Don't do that to yourself. You're gonna run yourself out of the shop before you can even be good at being an actual mechanic professionally. Remember, it's not about how nice your tools are. It's about how good of a technician you are. Your tools don't make you a good technician. So remember, learn, and as you learn, you buy the good stuff, then you look cool. Slow is steady, and steady is fast. Don't get in too big of a rush. Just start out slow. Learn what you can. Get under someone's wing. And don't spend a fortune coming into it. Just get the tools that you need. You don't have to buy Snap-on or Matco or any of that stuff. But for goodness sakes, starting out as a technician, don't hurt yourself by buying a whole bunch of Snap-on tools or Matco tools or anything for that matter. Just go down to Harbor Freight and Lowe's and Home Depot and buy it budget, go to the budget rack. There's no problems with that. And as you break it, replace it. And remember, if you use it 3 times or you borrow it 3 times from one of your fellow technicians or one of your fellow shop members, you probably should buy one. Don't be that guy that's always borrowing that tool. Like, for instance, this Harbor Freight ratchet is unbreakable. I have literally put this thing through everything it could possibly be through. Look at the head of it. It has been through a whole lot. I think it's even bent a little bit. It is impressive that this ratchet still works with all the shit I put it through. Really tight bolts, really tight. Remember, buy this before you buy the good stuff, because you're not gonna go anywhere. You gotta be able to have the tools to succeed before you can have that type of stuff. I'm not saying you don't deserve it. I'm just saying, hey, remember that the best way to start is the cheap way. And if anybody has free tools, garage sales are a great place. And don't be afraid to buy tools from a garage sale, especially starting out. For instance, This is just a toolbox that I still have laying around. I mean, and then I got a tool cart down here that I still use. It's perfect for my at-home shop. Don't be afraid to be cheap at first, because you're gonna build up your at-home collection so that you can work on stuff at home. I got like 3 toolboxes in my garage. Don't be afraid. Starting out, just be humble. You'll be all right. Which leads me to my next tool organization hack, an 18-inch magnetic bar. These things are fantastic. I bought these ones off of Amazon. You can get them at Harbor Freight, but they're cheaper on Amazon. I mean, they're fantastic. You can just throw your tools on them like that up there. I mean, I have a whole bunch of little odds and ends up there. It's perfect. You know, I got a lot of different types of tools at home. I have, woodworking tools. I have mechanic tools. I have just all kinds of other odds and ends. But my at-home toolbox looks a lot different than my at-work toolbox. But I can tell you right now, for at-home or even at work, these are fantastic. You can hang them anywhere. You can put them anywhere. You can do anything you want with them. They are awesome. So I'll put a link down in the description for these magnetic 18-inch bars. They sell them in all sorts of different types and sizes and different variations, but they're fantastic for just about anything that's metal. Hey everybody, thanks for stopping by Toddler Garage. If you have a second, smash that subscribe button for me and give me a thumbs up. It helps the YouTube algorithm. I hope that I answered a lot of your questions of how to get started in the industry, and if you're interested, I hope I answered some questions of how you can get started. You don't have to really go too crazy about it, but if I didn't answer all of your questions, put something down in the comments and I can answer them for you. But for all of you that are either trade school techs that are coming out of UTI, coming out of a trade school, whatever it might be, if you have any questions, just put them right down below and I'll get right to you. Let me know what you'd like to see next. And remember, magnets.